Welcome to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Today, we'll show you how to use the spirit of love and self-worth to improve the connections with everyone else in your life. This program is your weekly gift, and it will keep on giving. You'll see. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone. I hope you're all faring well. I'm Dr. Jean Marie Farish, and I am so thrilled for you to join us live on the Voice America Network to empower your life with love. We have a great show today, progressing with the new normal in education with an amazing guest. But before we jump in, let's form an imaginary circle of love, joining our hearts and hands. And in the center of our circle of radiant golden light, we lovingly enfold our teachers, children, and parents, and those who are suffering, our fellow Texas neighbors in crisis. From our heart to yours, we shine love light. For teachers, parents, children, we pray for inspiration, learning, and creativity. And for those struggling and our fellow neighbors, we shine love light for strength, well-being, and recovery. And whenever we feel anxious and fearful during these challenging times, for healing, grace, and mercy, return to our circle of love. And so it is. You know, education is the hallmark of society with far-reaching benefits. And as we embrace the new normal in education, I think we all can agree that there's nothing normal about the challenges we are currently facing. And we certainly acknowledge that we are doing the best that we can. There's no standardized approach, and every community is handling it differently. No matter what platform, online, virtual, in-class, or hybrid, the adjustment can be frustrating and challenging for teachers, students, and parents. You know, there was an article by Sarah Mina Osman, what it's like teaching on Zoom to students I've never met and often not seen or heard. And she expressed learning which students advocate for themselves and unanswered questions and considerations regarding forming strong relationships that are necessary for students to succeed. And even the effects of not socializing in person that affect social skills and those extracurricular outlets in school as an escape. But nonetheless, we have to make the most, expand our view, and reach out to provide as much support and resources that can be assessed. So in spite of major changes that have significantly impacted and disrupted our family systems and education and institutions, the educational system is paramount as we adapt to the new normal. So what are the challenges? And what support systems and resources are available to empower children and parents? And when we refer to parents, we are inclusive and include all kinds of family arrangements. Our guest, Karen Gibson, she was on Love Light in September of last year, embracing the new normal in education when the school term began for most educational institutions. And she's returning to share progress and challenges with the new normal in education. She hails from Hawaii. She's a former special education teacher, author, certified life coach, certified in neuro-linguistic programming. She's the founder of Brain Builders private tutoring business and Letting Go Aloha. She's an expert on showing parents how to become better for themselves and their children. So we welcome Karen Gibson to our show. And we welcome our listeners around the world and those from Hawaii for our show progressing with the new normal in education. So, Karen, it's so lovely to have you back. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Jean. It's such an honor. Thank you for inviting me again. Yes, we have quite an adjustment to make during this progressing in the new normal and the lack of progress in some areas.
Yes. Well, tell us, first of all, what inspired your work?
Well, I've been an educator for 27 years, and I've watched parents struggle, with sleepless nights, with a lot of crying, both the parents and the children, and I decided to offer virtual tutoring as well as parent coaching because, parents are already stressed with this pandemic, and you add on distance learning and the challenges of raising children in, prior to COVID. Parenting is just, as you know, very, very challenging. So I wanted to just offer a resource, offer some tips, and help them so that, raising kids does not have to be the torturous journey that sometimes it feels like.
Yes, well, thank you so much for just sharing that and realizing the differences that are specific to every community. Can you give us an update? What have we learned and what works, what does not?
Well, we've learned over the past, 8 months that distance learning isn't working for a lot of kids. They are lacking motivation. They're dealing with a lot of distractions, the inability to focus on those, 20 squares on their laptop, and just suffering overall just stress. So it is not conducive for a lot of kids. Suicide rates are increasing. Mental health is compromised, and it's just difficult. So I think it's so important. You're asking about what can we do about it. Parents need to practice patience, empathy, focus more on mental health rather than academic goals, which can be really hard to do because, we all want academics to be a priority, right? But if it's compromising our children's mental health, we really need to focus on emotionally connecting with our kids, teaching them the power of deep breathing and calming themselves, because we do not want, mental breakdowns, or we don't want, anxiety and panic attacks to rise with our kids.
Yes, it's quite a challenge. And I recently viewed a series, Kids Under Pressure, which was very knowledgeable, focusing on education during the pandemic with interviews with children. And it revealed more stress, children being more distracted, struggling with motivation and connectivity issues, and this pressure to achieve. So in this series, the children wanted more understanding. They wanted parents to ask them how they're doing, how things going, and more talk and bonding. So from your perspective, what do children need?
Well, I've been interviewing children as well. The students that I tutor really want to be heard, understood, and like you said, they want to be asked, not like, when is your homework due? Did you do it? How are you? What's going on? Are you struggling with anything? And just listening without judgment or criticism, which I think is really hard as a parent because we have our agenda. We want our kids to be educated, but kids cannot be educated and want to learn if they're not, heard, understood, and just that unconditional love, that love and light that you talk about. They really need to feel it to want to be in that, in the mental state to learn.
Yes, and, from this segment, it was revealed that, some still feel the pressure to achieve. And we know that there are students at different levels, and some are more self-directed, some are not. And even those who were primarily self-directed had issues staying distracted because a lot of the students are now at home, and at home people are doing work. There are more children in the home or more distractions. So that was a concern that was brought up as well. And I know, as you indicated, parents are under pressure Many are really in the survival mode, just trying to get by through the day. And perhaps relationships that were already taxing have now escalated into something that seems impossible to manage. So do you have any tips for parents, or, well, actually, from your perspective, what do parents need at this time?
Well, I think parents need to know that it's not all about academics. They are not to be replacement teachers or be responsible to teach their kids. So, a lot of it is, I was just researching, and it's lightening up. It's knowing that the world is not going to end if your children fall behind, if they're not logging on, if they're just being apathetic and not motivated. It'll be okay. But if we keep nagging and lecturing and scolding them, it'll just make it worse. So, having support, either other parents, sometimes it just takes talking to other parents, going through the same thing, knowing that you're not alone, or reaching out to, of course, the schools, counselors, admin. But if they're not available, you can create your own support group. I have that in my own business. We have a mom support group. You can create just a group of even 3 fellow parents where you share your problems, brainstorm, and you'd be amazed at how calming it is just to hear other parents, vent and share that they're going through this struggle along with you. You're not alone.
Yes, that's so important. I remember I received a call from a friend, and they were telling me that their child was having trouble, really with the online, and this was a special need child. And I said, well, perhaps the child doesn't connect with the Zoom and feel more pressure. And I said, what are some options that you can explore with the teacher and the counselor? And she said, well, there is an option for, just regular homework assignments that can be emailed or picked up or whatever. And I said, well, why don't you really talk with the counselor and the teacher and look at what are the options if you see that this is not working and the student, your child is feeling more pressured. And so it kind of, it's like sometimes there's things that are obvious that parents feel so pressured they can't really see the obvious. And exactly. So they were like, yes, that's a great idea, and they said, well, yeah, we did connect, and we connected with the counselor, we connected with the teacher, and now, the homework assignments are, they're not on the Zoom, and we have that option. So I think with every school or community doing things different ways, we have to be knowledgeable of the kinds of resources that are available, and I guess be an advocate for our children. But we have to be knowledgeable.
Definitely. And the schools, if they don't know, a lot of times they will have resources as well. So they are being so accommodating, and they know the parents and the kids are stressed. So it's amazing how they'll do one-on-one calls with them, or, sometimes it can just be FaceTiming. I did a tutoring session, believe it or not, on Instagram because the child's laptop wasn't working. So we did instant, the DMing, the direct messaging, and I did the entire tutoring on social media, Instagram. People don't realize that, the power of technology really helps us modify education now.
Yeah, I love that. And as we talk about the challenges that parents are facing and things that are working, and things that are not working, what are some other things that maybe some examples of some modifications, or how you have made the journey as a parent coach for children and parents? What are some modifications that have been made that have helped parents and children from your perspective?
From my perspective, I heard a lot of success with learning pods. You can do it virtually or in person, and all it is creating a group of maybe 3 to 4 students. It can be social distanced, if you do it in person. Someone had a picnic table outside or even a blanket, and they actually had about 3 other kindergarteners, and they were thrilled to be able to have face-to-face, socialization while being educated. During my Zoom, I teach with the whiteboard, singing, drawing, creating stories, and really engaging the child and asking the child, what do you want to do? Sometimes they'll say, can we sing today's lesson? Or can we draw, on the whiteboard? Because Zoom actually does, give you options to, have them draw or use the little heart stamps or the gold stamps. And children can give you a lot of ideas if you just ask them. I've helped parents reconnect with obstinate teens by just practicing the power of letting go. Setting boundaries, but loving unconditionally will get children to cooperate, rather than start a conflict, and just make learning fun. Incorporate laughter, memory games. Parents are shocked at how the results are so drastically, positive. Just over 1 or 2 times changing your mindset and just how you interact with your child. It's amazing,
Yes, I love what you brought up. Kind of look at different variations to bring more humor, fun, laughter, and to be, really selective about what games you can coordinate with academic assignments to make it more fun and, engaging. So I love that you brought that up.
Yes, and you were mentioning how to deal with isolation. Isolation does require creativity, but, kids on their own, they're creating their own social media support groups. They play video games online with kids around the world, FaceTime, texting, just helping kids feel connected and not so alone. People criticize social media, but if you use it the right way, it can really help kids feel connected. And they still, can interact with your friends.
Yes, that's so important. And I think that sometimes the children are more savvy with technology than their parents. So it can even be a teaching learning experience for the children to share, options and different things with their parents regarding technology. So it can be an educational component there for the parents as well. So the students become the teachers.
And a great opportunity to bond, right? Because then the kids feel knowledgeable, they feel empowered, and then they can include the parents too. Have the kids choose like a family activity or reward, and just really go easy about the grades and just focus on, like you said, the bonding, and we are really restructuring priorities. That's what this whole pandemic, I think, is allowing us to do.
Yes, that's very good. I'm glad that you shared that. And we're going to talk more about, the family bonding, which is what some of the students said that they really want parents to really connect more with them, to engage in more conversations, to, ask them how they're doing. So we're going to, talk more about that in our next segment. But now I think we're going to take a quick commercial break. So don't go away. We'll be right back with more on progressing with the new normal in education with our amazing guest, Karen Gibson, author, certified life coach, founder of Brain Builders and Letting Go Aloha. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com.
Celebrate the launching of Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, to guide you in strengthening and embodying the practice of love in your daily life. Connect with us on Facebook and join our Lover's Lane Feel Good Now community and tune in to the Love Cocktail Minute. Relax, refresh, renew for support and daily inspiration. Life Care Wellness Pep for Angels Inc. is a nonprofit organization to enrich lives and serve our community with emphasis on serving children who are hospitalized. Join Dr. Jean Marie Farish and Vicki Winterton in their global mission to donate My Joy Journal for children in English and Spanish to as many children as possible. Order directly from Amazon.com and donate to children in your communities.
Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today. Ascension expert Judy Satori's Ascension Library will activate your true soul and human potential. Access a selection of audio-based meditations, energy transmissions, and live-streamed video events. Transform your reality with popular programs such as the transcripts of Mary Magdalene for heart opening, beautiful, to radiate your inner beauty, and the body balancing and physical regeneration pathway to become more energized. Ignite your spark and live a life of passion and purpose. Explore membership options to activate a 5-day free trial. Visit ascensionlibrary.org.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to our show, Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. I'm your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish. And if you're just joining us, we're with our amazing guest, Karen Gibson, author, certified life coach, certified neuro-linguistic programmer, founder of Brain Builders and Letting Go Aloha, on progressing with the new normal in education. And Karen, I just want to thank you for sharing strategies with us about how to empower parents and children as we navigate this new normal in education. And, you know, from things that I've researched, it has shared some significant points about how important it is to use telehealth resources, maintain personal hygiene, because sometimes I think you get comfortable just being at home, and even that can uplift your spirit, to maintain a personal hygiene regimen, connect with others virtually, exercise, and keep a schedule. So those were some of the things that I, researched and found that, has really worked with parents and children. And in the first segment, we really talked about challenges faced by parents and children, and you did highlight your role. But I'd like for you to share more about your role as a parenting coach, and share with us how you have really empowered parents and helped them navigate this new normal in education.
Well, yes, I think a lot of people don't realize, what does a parent coach do? And I kind of give this analogy where if you were into baseball or football or, any sport, you need a coach. It really helps to have a strong support system. So I offer, practical strategies. We brainstorm customized solutions because, as we know, every child is different, right? Even siblings, they will have different learning styles, different love languages. And so I help parents trust in their child's journey, which releases worry, right? Just let go of control and learn to love unconditionally. I think a lot of times we don't realize how conditional our love is, when we get upset if the grades aren't right, or our child is disrespectful and rolls their eyes, and how do we connect when there is a disconnect? So one of the things I do is a learning style assessment, right? Is your child visual, auditory, kinesthetic? And that will make a huge difference in how they learn and if they learn. So a lot of my children who just cannot handle maybe the classroom, whether it's virtual or in person, we realize that they are not taught with their primary learning style. They might be kinesthetic, so we need to do things like touch type of thing, where you have touch things where they can move them, move like marbles, or do something with their hands, not just watch a boring video or watch a teacher lecture. So even virtually, they'll have things in front of them, and then we will go ahead and either draw it or, make them feel that it is not, you can't make it boring. That's the first thing. I mean, if children, learn successfully, they need to really engage and love the process. The second thing that can make a huge difference in connecting, whether it's in the home, or in the classroom, is love languages. I think a lot of people are learning, the power of love languages. Does your child want words of affirmation? If your child does not really feel loved with words of affirmation, if you say good job, it means nothing. Maybe they want a high five, maybe they want a little treat. So gifts, physical gifts is their love language. Or maybe they just want time. They want to just sit by you and, watch a show. So practicing love languages and the primary learning style has made a huge difference. I mean, one testimony was this one boy was actually punching walls. The mom had to call the police. Very, very volatile, almost violent interaction. And once she, kind of calmed down, spoke in a very nurturing tone, I was shocked too that the child actually hugged the mom on this past, Valentine's Day, did his homework. She was still setting boundaries, no video games unless you turn on the camera. And but then he did it. And we were shocked that setting boundaries, but using, unconditional love language and just the way you act, the way that you interact, the words you use, the tone you use, it makes a huge difference, Jean, in how kids respond and learn.
Yes. I have a question. Have you had situations where the parent and the child perhaps work together to determine what will work? It's like some agreement without the parent being the one directing or setting the boundaries, or, do you have that type of, option where parents and children work together to set, to look at what works, what we're going to agree on this?
Definitely. I'm glad you brought that up, because you do need to have a collaborative effort. It can't be a dictator, saying you're not the boss. I know a lot of parents think that they're boss, but if you're the boss, you're going to have a rebellious child. So I love how you said that. You need to engage your child, have your child feel like they are part of the agreement. So yes, you sit down. I encourage weekly, like family meetings, even if you're a single mom, you can have a meeting with whoever is in the family. You said extended family are together now. The grandparents and aunts and uncles sit down and really talk, have a family discussion, which I don't think many of us do because we're too busy. But when kids feel part of it, they'll more likely cooperate because they are part of the process. They will give their input, which makes all the difference in the world in cooperating.
And I love what you said about the love language. It's like even as a result of setting up some type of collaborative arrangement where the parent and the child agrees, then there's reinforcement or rewards for, adhering to what we agreed upon and paying attention to whether it's the learning style or what is considered the proper reinforcement for that particular child. It makes all the difference. So I like, that you shared that in terms of the power of, giving or rewarding when something is done right.
Yes, and so some ideas, it's amazing. Some of the rewards that children want are so simple, like a homemade pizza night, a family walk around the neighborhood. My daughter wanted the 2 dogs and the cat and all of us. So we put the cat in a little stroller that we invested in, walked around the block, and I thought I would never have even thought of this as a reward. Another daughter wanted to just sit and watch a movie as a family. So we did that. Family painting is what I wanted to do. My husband wanted to go to the golf range, and it is possible now with social distancing. But if everyone gives their input, then it really feels like a family reward, not just a reward that the parent comes up with. Because some of the rewards we come up with, I have students say, and I don't want that. That's not a reward for me. That's a punishment. And so it really is enlisting everyone involved and making it a collaborative effort.
Wow, that's wonderful. One important aspect of this social isolation and all of us being together in one place or whatever, they refer to the importance of exercise and getting out. And
yes.
Because, after a while, if the weather is accommodating or it's a nice day, it's nice to, really connect with nature, get out of the house, get off the Zoom and, connect with nature and do something different. And this whole aspect of exercise can be quite refreshing. And I know when I was talking to the family about their child, I said, well, what does the child like to do? And she said, well, the father and the child, they love bowling, And I said, well, I know now, I don't know if there are restrictions at the bowling alley or whatever, but really identifying what are some things that the child like, to kind of break the monotony of just being at home and in isolation. So I think the whole aspect of exercise and being creative and getting outside and, doing other things can really enhance this, bonding and building the healthy relationship and interaction with parents and children.
Definitely. You be creative. I mean, how the little kids have their own little plastic bowling ball and they have like plastic bowling pins. You can create your own little bowling alley in the comfort of your living room.
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing how with creativity, if you can't go to the bowling alley, bring the bowling alley to you. Even with golf, you can have the little plastic golf ball. I mean, how men practice at home, incorporate your kids, and they would love. Kids who don't like golf, if you put a little ball in front of them and tell them to hit it, they'll just be laughing, and you can have little rewards and prizes, and it becomes a fun event where you're bonding, releasing stress, and exercising. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And I know you and I have talked about the whole aspect of meditation and being calm and how even family kinds of activities can encourage that. You mentioned something about the meditation and the candle when we talked before. I'd love for you to share.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you brought that up. I have a 4-year-old and he just adores the candle breathing, exercise, and he gets into his little stance. His hands are on his chest and he closes his eyes. On his birthday, I brought 5 tea candles, which he could keep, and it was like I gave him $1 million. And so we deep breathe, we hold the breath for 3 counts, and then, just breathe out, and then he gets to breathe, blow out all the candles. We make a wish, we ground ourselves, and so now I'm telling all parents, there's so many inexpensive candles out there. You can and the kids really get into the deep breathing more when there's a candle, because, you get to look at the flame, and it becomes entertaining and just relaxing.
Yes, with the parents supervising that kind of activity. Yes, if you're
definitely yes, you do not want to encourage if they're deep breathing and there's no one there. Then of course no flame. But now there's those candles that
don't have
the electronic. The electronic candles that require no fire, and it just something to look at. Whether it's their favorite stuffed animal or an electronic light, flashlight. It could be anything, but just closing their eyes too and just imagining where they want to be,
So there's so many practices that parents can engage in with their kids that can really be helpful in the long run and teach our children skills to be calm and how to meditate and things like that, because like I said before, parents are already stressed, so getting the whole family involved in these activities can be so empowering for everyone.
Well, you know what it is? It is creating a foundation so that they in turn will become adults who know how to handle, anger and stress and depression and anxiety. I mean, you are creating that foundation and raising kids, who'll be resilient, responsible, respectful. It's amazing the power of, like you said, meditation, deep breathing, and providing kids with tools so that they become adults who, know how to handle the adversities that just pop up unpredictably.
And of course, the parents, they are the ones who can really train. So even for the children, if they observe that you're being more calm, I think it radiates throughout the whole household. So it, through modeling, parents can really teach their children how to be more calm and how to be more self-controlled. So these are definitely.
And that's, I always say that you are, the gateway. You are the one who, if you lose your temper and then you wonder, why is my child so angry? I mean, they are watching, they are absorbing, they learn from us. So we need to make it a priority to self-care, practice self-care so you know that your child knows the importance of taking care of themselves. Otherwise, they won't think of it as important. They'll think of it as, no, I'm going to be selfish if I do something for myself.
Yes, that's a good point. And one thing I also thought about was a gratitude practice where the children and the parents can engage in being grateful, and that can shift the energy of the household and the energy within. So practicing gratitude, keeping a gratitude journal, something of that nature, a nice little pretty journal that the kids can have, and maybe on your family night or whatever, you can really talk about what are you grateful for, even though you can't be with your friends or whatever, but let's look at some other things that we're grateful for. If we're healthy, if we have food, we're engaging, we watched that movie, we had fun, a laundry list of things that gratitude can really invoke.
Well, and that's how I used to end the day, end the night right before we go to bed. We would do our daily highlight, and that is truly a way of, acknowledging the gratitude, simple gratitude in our life. So, what are you grateful for today? Especially before you go to bed, that's a great way to end your day and close your eyes, focusing on, what you appreciated.
And, I think that this can give a lift to students, our children who are constantly on Zoom and feel pressured about, homework or whatever. It kind of breaks up the energy where you can really do something more wholesome and fun that can enhance the interaction with parents and other siblings, and, can refresh the children when they get back on the Zoom and do their homework.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, they do need that break. What happens sometimes is after Zoom, the parents are, okay, let's do the homework. I want the homework out of the way. And there is no break. And so the kids are saying, wait a minute, I have, Zoom, and then I have to do homework. And then there's a lot of yelling and mental meltdown. So yeah, you're right. You do need the break to bond and just refuel, replenish.
And we have a little bit more time for that if we're at home. So we want to encourage our parents to pay attention to the children and their needs. Find online resources to address mental health needs and connect with institutions that may provide conferences and online training resources. In my state, the Mississippi Statewide Autism Training initiated a virtual conference last year. The Mississippi Department of Human Services, the Mississippi Patient Information Center project, and also Mississippi Department of Rehabilitation Services. So, research what's available through your school district and local resources. You're not alone. There's always help available. So I think it's now time for a quick commercial break, so don't go away. We'll be right back with more on progressing with the new normal in education with our amazing guest, Karen Gibson, author, certified life coach, founder of Brain Builders and Letting Go Aloha. We'll be right back.
Ascension expert Judy Satori's Ascension Library will activate your true soul and human potential. Access a selection of audio-based meditations, energy transmissions, and live-streamed video events. Transform your reality with popular programs such as the transcripts of Mary Magdalene for heart-opening, beautiful, to radiate your inner beauty, and the body balancing and physical regeneration pathway to become more energized. Ignite your spark and live a life of passion and purpose. Explore membership options to activate a 5-day free trial. Visit ascensionlibrary.org. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is proud to announce the release of her new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, Our Natural State of Being, available now at Balboa Press. This book will help you master your life and flourish in love. You'll learn how to become a better and more evolved you. Feel good by making life-affirming choices. Deepen your feelings and expressions of love. Tune in love and sustain the change. And flourish in love and find your joy. Visit BalboaPress.com and search for Living in the Spirit of Love and enjoy Dr. Farish's new book today.
Celebrate the launching of Dr. Jean Marie Farish's new book, Living in the Spirit of Love, to guide you in strengthening and embodying the practice of love in your daily life. Connect with us on Facebook and join our Lover's Lane Feel Good Now community. And tune in to the Love Cocktail Minute. Relax, refresh, renew for support and daily inspiration. Life Care Wellness Pep for Angels, Inc. is a nonprofit organization to enrich lives and serve our community with emphasis on serving children who are hospitalized. Join Dr. Jean Marie Farish and Vicki Winterton in their global mission to donate My Joy Journal for children in English and Spanish to as many children as possible. Order directly from Amazon.com and donate to children in your communities.
Best-selling Authors International news honors best-selling authors around the globe. Dr. Jean Marie Farish is featured in the newly released issue of Published Magazine. To have first access to this treasured resource, go to publishedmagazine.com.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You are tuned in to Love Light with Dr. Jean Marie Farish. Feel free to connect with our program through email or check out our links on Facebook. Reach Jean at Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. That's Jean72Farish@yahoo.com. And now, back to Love Light.
Well, welcome back to Love Light, Living in the Spirit of Love. I'm your host, Dr. Jean Marie Farish, and if you're just tuning in, we're with our amazing guest, Karen Gibson from Hawaii, author, certified life coach, certified neuro-linguistic programmer, founder of Brain Builders and Letting Go with Aloha on progressing with the new normal in education. And Karen, I really thank you so much for sharing those tips in the previous segment on how you as a parent coach have helped parents and children and giving those insightful examples of how we can change the energy within the household and motivate our children to learn and build healthier and stronger relationships while doing so. So,
it's been a pleasure.
Yes. And could you tell us a little bit about your Letting Go with Aloha and maybe some tips and takeaways to help?
Well, my website actually, takeaways, definitely. Let's just recap. focus on being compassionate, right? Instead of focusing on schoolwork. It truly is empathy. Engage in, family discussions, of course, activities where you collaborate with your kids. Don't just dictate, have them be an active part of it. Practice non-judgment. This will go a long ways with your kids cooperating and just being more, like you said, they will be filled with love and light if you practice non-judgment and compassion. And I want to make sure that we emphasize daily gratitude, breath work, some type of meditation, even if it's 1 or 2 minutes. It'll really center and ground both parent and child. And most of all, just lean on family members, friends, schools, create your own little groups virtually or in person, social distancing, of course. And this is what parent coaches, counselors, teachers, there are so many resources, like you said, on the internet, as well as just the schools and mental health services that you can Google. So many resources out there.
Yeah, and, you've mentioned a lot of good things here. Focusing on compassion, engaging in family discussions, being non-judgmental, collaborating with your children to be an active participant, and looking at what are some things that we need to do to set boundaries. And it's all agreed upon with reinforcements integrated into that. And being non-judgmental, having a daily gratitude practice, breathing and meditation exercises that will be good for the whole family. And even though this may seem overwhelming to parents, just, try one thing and see if it works.
Definitely one thing.
Yes, I always use the litmus test of let me practice it and see how it works. You don't have to engage in everything all at one time, but, take one thing and see how it works and then build on that. Because I know parents may be overwhelmed already and you're thinking, gosh, I got to do this. But be aware and take one thing at a time and see what works.
Definitely. Keep what works, throw out what doesn't work, but you will find one thing that will definitely, create this calming environment for your child. So parenting doesn't have to be stressful.
Yes, and I was always impressed when you told me about how your daughter set up a chess online chess. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, and it was from someone from the Big Island and someone from, different islands, and someone was in the mainland, and it's amazing how they can have a movie night virtually where you guys are eating popcorn, making comments like you're in the movie theater, but it's a virtual experience playing chess, similar to, the video games, but you're actually, interacting, you're socializing, even cooking. They actually, which is shock to me. I didn't even know you could bake virtually, but, she was in the kitchen and went back to her friends, and I thought, wow.
Well, those are definitely some solutions for the connectivity issues that a lot of the children are facing, because I think on these interviews, some of them were saying, gosh, I haven't talked to my friends in a long time, and I really miss them. So what you're saying, in order to offset this connectivity issue, we can still engage in activities, even if they're online, but it still enhances that social connection.
Yes, social connection is so important, and it's still possible virtually.
And I think one of the points that was brought up was that students felt like, gosh, I just, I would always depend on my friends to help me with homework assignments, and now I feel like I'm all alone. I'm having to do this by myself. And when you brought up those, pods?
Yes, learning pods, it can be FaceTiming. I mean, learning pods makes it sound like, what is that? It truly is. It can be as simple as FaceTiming a friend, and you just need one other person to help you with your homework, one other person that makes you feel not alone.
Yes, I love that. So tell us about your resources and books and things like that, and how listeners can connect with you.
Well, on Amazon, I have my first book, Mama's Gotta Let Go, Without Losing Your Sanity. And I am soon to be publishing my second book called 100 Parenting Tips Inspired by the Pandemic. But if you don't want to read it, it is available now on my YouTube channel. I have 100 of the parenting tips that I recorded, and it's on Letting Go with Aloha. So that's the YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram. I did 100 Instagram lives doing all the parenting tips, and that is also on Letting Go with Aloha. You can connect with me on my website, same name, Letting Go with Aloha, but you can email me at Karen@lettinggowithaloha.com. And the first 10 people who email me saying that they did listen to our show will get a EQ book. And it's an e-book that shows you how to increase your child's EQ as well as your own. We're realizing now that EQ is way more important than IQ. So that's a gift for your listeners.
Wow, amazing. You have a plethora of resources. You're truly an expert. I've tuned in to your online resources, even though you think, well, I'm not there, I'm listening in. I'm tuned in. And you're truly an expert, and I think parents really rely on you for your expertise and support. And of course, you've been a teacher, and you are aware of what parents face. You're aware of what parents currently are dealing with during this pandemic and the challenges, even with children with special needs, because I think that was one of your specialties as well.
I was a former, special ed teacher. I wanted to add one more thing. I know we're running out of time.
No,
I have a private Facebook group. I encourage your listeners to, ask to be on it. It's called Stressed Mom Support Group by a Hawaiian Mom. You do not have to be a stressed mom. You can be a stressed dad, grandpa, grandma, aunt, uncle, just stress dealing with raising children, interacting with children. You can be a teacher. So I invite your listeners to join my private group called Stressed Mom Support Group by a Hawaiian Mom on Facebook. And let's build our tribe, so we can support one another.
Yes, no matter where we are, as they say, we're in this together. And so we can all help each other. So please, by all means, connect with Karen. And Karen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been fun, Jean.
Okay, all right. So take advantage of the resources and tips offered by Karen and connect with her to learn more. It's important to stay connected. Let people know how you're progressing. Make them aware of your needs. Say thank you to our teachers, parents, and children. Don't take them for granted. They're all doing the best that they can. And remember our circle of love. So join me next week with yours truly, Empower Your Life with Love Fridays, Cultivating a Loving Spirit. Send me your insights about our shows and results of the Love Light practice exercises that are posted on the blog page of my website, www.jeanferrisjourney.com, and email me your results and your insights, jean72ferris@yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Much gratitude to the Voice America team for making this show a reality and for shining their love light around the world. I'm your host, Dr. Jean Marie Ferris, and remember, an empowered self is a loving self, and keep your love light shining. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to Love Light this week. Be sure to join Dr. Jean Marie Ferris again for another program next Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and noon Eastern Time on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a wonderful week filled with love, self-worth, and better connections.